philosophy matters.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Jack Lloyd here. I'm excited to be back and hanging out, especially after the big New York trip that me and Fudd did. That was pretty incredible. Actually getting to go to New York City and to be able to go to a bunch of different locations and Brooklyn Lookout and all those other places and hang out and do our next music video shoot. It was a lot of fun. So I'm kind of excited to share with y'all some of those shots. And eventually, I'm going to share more things publicly. In the beginning, of course, we're doing a little bit there for backers and stuff like that. So we gave them the behind the scenes, but eventually we'll release more behind the scenes leading up to the release of the video. But it's pretty exciting. I really can't believe just how well it went, especially when we were shooting in the middle of like Times Square with a bunch of people around us. We just navigated the scenery and kind of found nooks and crannies where we can shoot. So I think you'll find it pretty impressive. So what's up, everybody here? And good to see you, ANCAP Gamer, coming on in and hanging on out. And just real quick here, just a reminder, if you're watching this, you're on another site where it's not YouTube, please go on over to the YouTube where I can see your comments. Make sure to subscribe there, get the notifications bell and all that good stuff, like and share, just because I'm trying to build back up my YouTube channel since I spent most of my years just never telling people to do that. So might as well get that on going. And so, what I'm going to be doing today in terms of what we're talking about is talking about the warehouse and fulfillment stuff with Rippaverse, because as I've just heard, the fulfillment on Isom has just completed. So apparently it's just completed the other day, the entirety of the orders. And he said, as Eric said, it was about 49,000-ish orders, something between 49,000 and 50,000 orders, which that's huge. Like that's a massive to do for an independent team. He's actually doing this stuff on his lonesome. And that to me is pretty impressive to be able to fulfill that many orders. It's no easy task. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with you through some of the footage that they've shared and look at some of those tactics they use to help move things along in the fulfillment process, because I think it's just interesting. I like seeing businesses and behind the scenes and thinking about what they're doing and what's good, what you can learn from it and stuff like that. So I really, just enjoy doing that. Of course, I'm big into business and liberty, and of course, raising funds and comics and stuff like that. So to me, it's just really interesting to observe. So I'm going to share the screen real quick here, and I'm going to play and pause at different points, through a couple of videos that show their different fulfillments. So this right here is one of the videos they released just recently. And as you can see here, it does go by pretty fast. Like it's like the effects and stuff make it difficult to focus on for too long. But because they have kind of this big overview, you can really see here at their warehouse, their fulfillment center, that they got a lot of stuff going on. They have these big metal shelves that, they're stocked to the brim with all their different product. And, there's a huge team there. Obviously, they got a lot of people that are on this for different elements of production. So you can see right here, as it starts to go in, you get little sneak peeks of like what is going on in the facility and, how they're doing things. And so even just like little quick blips here, as you're taking a peek at there, gives you some cool insight into how it is that they're doing the fulfillment. And if you look here on the table, they definitely have some type of labels printer, which you definitely need when you're in a business that, and you can see that right there on the table. It's kind of next to that tape in the red right by the computer screen. When you're doing that many orders, you definitely need to have a labels printer. A labels printer makes it way easier to ship all your stuff rather than doing it by hand or doing it ad hoc. You need some type of system that actually formats it for you and just boop, pops it out, and you can stick it on. A lot of times those printers are thermal. And if you're not familiar with that, thermal printers basically use like a laser heat to imprint on a special paper that shows up as dark ink when it burns on it. So it's very affordable relatively to make these like sticky things to stick onto packages. And I know a bit about this stuff too, because I actually used to work at an eBay business that did mass fulfillment. And so I managed their Zebra brand printers, that had laser printing and stuff like that and did fulfillment. So I just really, get a kick out of seeing what types of tools they're using, how things are going, stuff like that. And I'm not sure what that red circle thing is there. If you look closely, it might be a fan that's next to there, which I wouldn't be surprised. It looks like this could get hot because this looks like it's a true warehouse, and warehouses often are not, the best in terms of air conditioning or airflow, especially if it's like an ad hoc, thing in a facility. So You can see there, Eric's, hustling, bustling. He's got a computer screen there. He's got, looks like probably a wireless keyboard, wireless mouse. So he's got everything there kind of, in his little workstation doing, I guess, whatever segment he's kind of focused on there, which is cool to see. So he's, hustling there. You can see he was packing the boxes. I mean, it goes so fast because, it's in speed mode, but it shows that even he was, participating, actually putting together some of these orders himself, actually doing, part of the fulfillment, not just simply signing comics, but actually doing a part of the boxing. And in this wider shot, you can see some of the division of labor, right? So you have multiple people working at different sections, they have their own separate things. And one of the things I didn't realize, until I saw the behind the scenes footage, was that for the Dokemon cards, those cards, were being stocked individually into those boxes. So I thought that they might come pre-packaged from the manufacturer, like, they just do it all together, but it looks like they had the cards separately made. The lenticular printing cards, they kind of, look like they're moving when you shift them. And you can see right there, that they're, putting some of those things together, and, they're actually putting it together by hand. So they're actually having to put the cards into the boxes, like fit them into the form fitting, which is tedious. I mean, it's an endeavor to actually, do that right. Make sure you don't screw up the box. But it's cool to see, they have that process kind of automated with people working one step at a time. So I'm going to continue here on this video on this particular segment. And yeah, they're just, you can see everybody's working fast. They're hustling. They're packing these boxes bit by bit. There's different stages. They have a little stepping stool. So I see they have a little step ladder. They have something that looks like, power stack. It looks like they have some type of a power pallet moving machine. I'm not sure if that's theirs or rented or what, but obviously when you have those big pallets up there, you need some heavy equipment to move what is likely hundreds of pounds of products, right? If you have stacks of comics, you can't just lift that, with your hands unless you're like a superhuman. So you need some type of power lifting machine to move those pallets. It looks like they have some type of pallet lifting machine, kind of a standalone where it's not like one of those ones you drive on, just like a hand tool one. So that's kind of cool to see. And then, it's hard to make out all the details of every little thing because it is, a kind of a wide angle view, but you can definitely see that there is a type of workflow to it. And you see behind Eric down below, they have some of the posters. Of course, to the right, they have some of the card stuff. And then, I think we see some of the comic book stuff on a table that's over on the side. So definitely specialization, definitely people working in groups and batches to focus on specific parts of the process. All right, so I'm going to keep going here. Oh, there you go. See, I guess Eric there is taking a moment to respond to some tweets or something, maybe. I don't know. Taking a quick tweet break as he's working. That's good. Okay, here we go. So now we get to the part of the shirts. So this is cool because it shows you here that they're using just a quick little folding press. So obviously you want to have good presentation when you deliver shirts, right? If you just have it kind of folded up, it doesn't look as nifty and neat and as new. So the fact that they had this professional kind of folding machine, which is not expensive, it's just, plastic things that just let you lay it out so they can fold it quickly, is kind of cool to see, right? They're able to put together the shirts into a nice, neat, formatted package and make that presentation really nice. So that's pretty cool to see there. Oh, and there you go. There's some more action of, it goes by so quickly, but here to see it again, if I can pull this back. So you can see there, they're putting it in, and then there he is, putting on the shirts, folding them neatly. And now here is some fulfillment going on here. So you can I'm just going back and forth because it's so quick, but man, it's crazy to see, it's in fast motion how they're doing the comic book mailers, because what they used was the really nice, I think they're the Gemini style. So Gemini Comics, it's a company that makes official comic book mailing materials. So it's like specifically meant and built for a comic book shipment. So I can show you that real quick. I'm going to show Gemini. I'm going to pull this on. So, this is just something that's interesting to people who are in this industry. As you can see here on Gemini Comic Supply, Gemini Comic Supply has a bunch of those different mailers where you can get things that are fitted for comic books. So comic flash mailers, they have bags, they have backings and stuff like that. They have magazine mailers. So if you're at that next level where you're like really want to have that professional look, you can get Gemini mailers, and they're specifically made for comics. So the Isom comics were put into that type of mailer, that professional comic book mailer. So that's really, cool to see, obviously, to see that level of quality and product care, put into this. And hey, what's up, DCC? Good to see you, D Conway. And again, thanks again for your great drawings of Voluntarius and also your cool art. Keep that on going. So we're going to keep taking a look here at the process and see what comes up next. All right. So yeah, just more overview, just kind of looking at everybody here. So they're all stacking some of the books and stuff together and some of the cards together. And man, you can really see just how much work this takes. I mean, this is going, lightning fast speed. Oh, okay. And there's an important part. So it looks like they started to get to a point where they got the labels, and now, okay, they actually have what looks like a UPS truck that comes in for them, right? So when you do a big, shipment like this, usually you're able to, just call in a truck and they'll come in and they'll pick up your, books for you. So if you have, big stacks, obviously it's nice to not have to take all that to the store, right? You don't want to have to be like, oh, let me lug like 100 boxes, right? So if you get a UPS truck or FedEx or whoever to come on up to your business and take it for you, it makes life a heck of a lot easier. So that's awesome to see that they have this direct delivery service. Very smart. And as you can see there, they have the stacks of orders going out for the day. And you can see definitely in Texas, you can see the Texas license plate on the UPS car. Obviously, they're set up in Texas. But there you go, right? They have a big wheeling cart for all their packages. And you can see they have individual comic mailers. They have bigger boxes and combos, stuff like that. And and that's the end of this particular video. I got a couple more, but that was a really cool insight into what it is, that they're doing with their shipments and delivery process. So let me pull up this second video here that I have and see what's going on here. Okay. So here's one, at least this one's a little bit slower. So I'm just going to start this again as I get this a little bit bigger. So you can see Eric working there. I believe that's his wife there. She's helping to pack. And you see the Uline, right? So they got Uline supplies. So Uline is a big supplier of packing and shipping materials. I don't always use them. It depends on who I want to work with. But Uline is very known for having all the types of packing and shipment supplies you could possibly want. So from what I've seen, what I hear, and the things I've used them, I've had no problem with Uline. Uline's, make some good stuff. So it looks like they got some of their packing materials from Uline, at least the bubble stuff. But you see there, real quick, they had the shipping label they just put on. You could see it was printed out, and it's like, okay, then they blurred it out, right? So they obviously want to protect the identity there. Oh, and you see there they had the fragile sticker. So I had that on one of my boxes. So that's cool to see they put the fragile sticker on. Oh, and this is super cool, right? So they have their own custom sticker printer. So you see this right here. It says Better Packages. So they actually have their own. When I say sticker, I mean like a packaging tape sticker, not decorative sticker. It is decorative, but they have it so you can actually just print out and cut it, and that's really convenient, right? To be able to have a kind of your own custom packing tape that has great branding on it, that lets you be able to cut slices very quickly, and make it less likely that you're going to screw things up, right? I don't know if you ever try to package your tape anything, but when you're using your typical duct tape or whatever, or duck brand tape, clear tape, it could get stuck. It could get really messy and difficult to put on. So having a machine that actually nicely and neatly cuts it for you so you don't waste material, getting it stuck on things, that is excellent. So this Better Packages machine is super cool that they have their own custom reel for that, so they can do their own branded packaging tape. That is sick. And let's see here if there's anything else that comes up. I think he's saying actually in this video that this is that announcement, they had finished up all of their shipments. So yeah, so that was him just saying, hey, that's it. They actually closed out on their shipments. So Isom number 2 coming soon. Yeah. And, I think that obviously with how much they got in terms of orders, I think Isom 2 was clearly being pushed back. I think they're probably, if I had, this is just my estimation, I think that if they hadn't gotten so many orders, they may have started on Isom 2 sooner. But because they had a crazy amount of orders, my guess is that they will run another campaign or start another campaign, but probably like really close to the end of December is what I would think. And just my thought process there is that they need the time to prepare for this next issue. It's like they got such a huge response, like far beyond what they thought they were going to get, that they kind of need some extra time to recoup, retool, and figure out the best practices, going forward to make sure that they got everything that they need. And I think they're probably push it back to a little bit later in December than maybe they would have normally started had they had a smaller initial support. That in terms of what they thought of, not saying that they didn't, think they would get somewhere big, but I think that it was success beyond their wildest dreams. Obviously, I think that the success of the campaign truly went beyond what they were expecting, which is a good problem to have. But it just means that I think that they're going to push back the Isom 2 campaign a little bit until everything's tooled up so that they're ready to move even faster on this next one and have even more efficient processes. So, all right, let's take a look here at the last warehouse video that I have. So I'm going to take a quick look here. Okay. So you could see, let me full screen this. All right. I'm actually going to wind this back up real quick. This one's a little bit slower this time. So you see that Eric working. Oh, he had a smart water there, and it goes really fast. So I kind of almost have to like play and pause. So you can see they're hustling. So, and there you see the labels printer down below. Oh, and if you look at the top left corner, they got some snacks up there. So I don't think they're shipping anybody any snacks. So my guess is that's for everybody there so they can keep hustling. And you can see on the shelf, they got a bunch of bins for storage, right? Sometimes you want to have some closed bins so nothing gets into it. They have a 3M box. So it just shows, a bunch of their different tools and what they're using to make this happen. But they have a really good, work desk layout and setup here. So that's good. Okay. And if you look really carefully, it's so quick. I kind of have to just, there we go. Oh, I missed it. I have to do this again. 3, 2, 1, and boom. There you go. So they got some wrap there. So that little blue with the long kind of cylindrical form, that is, a wrapping paper. So it's like a plastic wrap so you can keep things tight together. They don't, slip around or move around. You can bundle stuff together. So that's what that's for. And you see a bunch of different types of boxes that they have on the side. So, they're really stacked in those boxes. And if you look back, there is some type of air conditioning, ventilation, something in there. But I imagine it's still getting hot with that many people working in there, and having them do so much physical work. Okay, so there you go. You got some more of the boxes. A hole in the wall probably was there already. Okay, ooh. So there's a little bit of a quick map. Oh, I got to go back because it just goes so quickly. I have to there we go. Okay. So you get a quick tracking of what he's looking at on this here. And I'm not exactly sure what area that is, but they're looking at something. I got to really come in tight to see these windows. It's a little bit blurry. It's clearly, Google Maps, but I'm not sure. If you can make out what it is, put in the comments or put it down there later. But they're calling about something. I'm not sure if it's a shipment related or what, but it gives you a sense that they're having to figure out maybe where maybe an address is, because I've dealt with that many times. Like when I've done my shipments of my comics, one of the fun things that I've had happen a few times is you get people and they send you their address, but it's missing the the apartment number or the townhome number or something like that, or it's missing like if it's a road or a street, and then you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I got to track this down and find out. Okay, hey, what was your actual address? What was your unit number? That kind of thing. So I'm sure with 50,000 around orders, they probably have had to deal with a lot of customer service of people just goofing and whatever it is, like one off on the number of the house, or they forgot to put the apartment or whatever. So, it's going to be interesting, to see if he talks about that at all, like talking about having to deal with so many different, customer follow-ups and stuff. So we'll see. And DCC says, do you think Isom 2 will blow Isom 1 out of the water and sales and everyone got a taste for it? To be betting on what I think is most likely, I truly think that Isom 2 will be, in terms of content, even better than Isom 1. I think that they're going to do an even better job. But I do think, personally, it is unlikely that the sales numbers will beat the first one. And the main reasons why that is because, one, economic conditions have changed. So you have to deal with reality. I mean, when people are struggling financially, that's just what it is. You're going to have people that, because of the inflation and because of the government spending and stuff, times have changed. Things have gotten more expensive. And a lot of people I know are hurting. A lot of people are, financially, they're struggling. They're having to work multiple jobs to make the same income. So I think he is facing an economic uphill. There's also the fact that it is true, no matter what way you cut it, there are the people who supported Eric on this first one just because they're fans of his other work, right? Even if they're not comic fans, like, you know what, I'm going to just support you on this first thing because hey, I just want to show you that I support you. They may not support on the next one. That's just reality. That said, it doesn't mean that Isom 2 will be unsuccessful in terms of sales. I think Isom 2 will be 100% financially successful. We're talking, raising plenty of money, maybe, a third of what he raised in the first one, but I think it will be very successful business-wise. I think that the fact that so many people just jumped in and supported, even if they're just doing it one time, gave Eric everything that he needs to keep things going and to expand slowly. Like he can do what he needs to do to advertise and promote and go to shows and build things up. He has the base level capital needed to do a normal growth cycle for a business, right? Which is just like any other comic book stuff, right? I mean, it's not like, when Superman was created, Batman was created, that was like, hey, that's an international success, right? It took decades of work to actually build these series up and grow the fandom and stuff like that. Eric July is no different in that manner. He just happens to have a bigger starting fan base and a lot more organic support right off the bat. He doesn't have to rely on traditional media channels to, buy advertising and all this other stuff. But I think Eric will probably have to buy advertising at some point. He could choose not to, but I think that if he actually wants to grow the brand and have that, continual, slow acclimation and an addition of people to the series and becoming used to seeing it and keeping it on their minds and growing that fan base, there's going to come a point where it's going to be wise to, have ads for the series, table events and all other good stuff. But that, that comes with first, getting that establishment down, which is the filmment being done, having Isom 2 come out, doing the filmment on that one too, having that kind of established fan base, getting some titles going, and then being like, oh, hey, we have all these different titles that we can now promote in advertisement, that we can now sit and table at with conventions, right? You don't want to go to a convention for a project that's not that much developed yet. If you go to a convention, it's usually wise to have at least a few things going for you so that you have a number of different things to sell and things get, people hooked on. So what's up, people? Good to see you. So let's go back to this video and see what happens next. Oh, and so it said real quick, I don't see DC here. He also knows channels. Yes. So when I stream to multiple channels. It actually streams to 8 different simulcast channels, ranging in all different types of views and viewership and stuff like that. Because it goes on Facebook, it goes on YouTube, and there's multiple YouTube channels, multiple Facebook channels. So if you don't see someone or you're like, oh, why do the views look low on this? It's actually going out to different places, then you wouldn't see the views from one, if you're on one channel, you might not be seeing the views on the rest of their channels. So that's, kind of how that works. Okay. So looking here. All right. So a little more view. Yeah. Lots of water, of course. Everybody's getting thirsty as they work. Oh, okay. So this flash is so fast. I'm going to have to really, I couldn't even catch it. It was just a shirt, but there we go. So fast. That shirt came out really good. That's some solid work. And there's the hat. So yeah, shirt and hat, nothing about the factory, I guess, but all right. So there you go. They're doing a little bit of roll there. I think, not mistaken, is that not James from Backwards? So that ginger look is very unique. He also has some type of anime or I don't know. It's cat with a noodleable shirt, so that's fun. That's not obviously that's not a Rippaverse there, but you can see that's the Yaira poster that he's gotten there, or Alex James, I should say, not just his last name. And there you go. So he's about to stick it in the. Oh, there you go. Well, that's naughty, isn't it? He's got the blue gloves and he's sticking it in the hole. Okay, I guess this might. I'm gonna have to relabel this video, mature audiences only, because I didn't realize that there was this type of comic book penetration here. So sorry for y'all. This is, not a Christian server anymore. All right. But as you can see here, the individual posters are being wrapped up nicely and being put into the tubes, which of course tubes are the best way to ship posters. Although there is still the risk that, if they bounce too hard, you can bend the edges. You have to be really careful in how you pack it and make sure it's perfectly tight so that you don't, accidentally have a, drop down and then boom, you crush the bottom. But looked like they did a good job on that. I didn't get a poster, because I don't have a place I'd really want to put a poster right now, but they are cool. And it looks like they came out really good from the pictures I've seen of people who did get them. So, and also I should note that the reason why, they have those blue gloves, not because they're giving each other TSA pat downs, but because you don't want grease from your hands greasing up the comics, right? You're using the gloves, not because you think it's going to magically prevent you from, getting sick or something. They have the gloves because you don't want to have your finger grease get onto a poster and leave a fingerprint or smudge stuff and stuff like that. So you wear the gloves. You should change them every so often just to make sure that you're not smudging up the printed artwork, and so it stays pristine the whole way. So I mean, again, that shows some TLC there, that they're actually like, yeah, we're going to make sure that we, keep this printed work looking good. So that's awesome. Oh, there's his wife doing some shirts. They're folding again the shirts, which again makes it really great for presentation. Oh, there you go. Oh, so you can see here, it says Isom M, right? So I'm going to guess that maybe the tubs there are how they organize the shirts, right? If it's Isom shirt, medium size, just a guess, but probably, right? So that makes sense. Using the tubs for the shirts, that's typical way to store them, keep them safe. Okay. Oh, and there you go. You got a quick view of those Dokkan cards. Okay, let's see. Oh, there you can see they have the cards out, right? So they're putting them in this set. So you can see that they're actually in the sets. And this was talked about before, how the Dokkan cards, I was actually surprised about this. I thought that they would have come, put together by the same company, because there are companies that do lenticular printing on cards and also do, packaging for shipment. So I'm going to guess then that in this case, the company maybe was a different one, that maybe they ordered the lenticular cards from one company and the boxes from another. But they're clearly having to put these in manually. So they're having to stuff these in manually, which, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's always nice that when you can get another third party to take care of that for you, help speed along your shipment process. But as you can see here, they put them in nice and neat, and those boxes I think were excellent. Really incredible design choice. Very enviable. I think that's a really amazing product. I definitely am inspired seeing that, doing a whole custom box with little, kind of humor on the sides, little like words like, oh, don't be weird, don't open here. I thought that was brilliant. So great work, team there over at Rippaverse, putting that together. I thought that is some great fan service and a fun way to have those boxes open up. So, okay, there's the comics. See, yep, there you got the gloves on, because again, you don't want them smudged. So they're putting it in manually. There he is signing it. And especially with signing it, you really don't want to smudge that signature. You want to make sure it's nice and cool down before you go. Okay. Ooh, they got some 3M there. So they put some tape. There you got the shipment. Oh, you got the stickers. What we talked about before. Yep. That custom tape, man. Again, another enviable practice. Definitely a thought, a temptation. Oh, okay. And here, this is different, unique. This time they have their own van, and Eric did say he was going to get a van. But in the last video, when they were finishing up, they are having UPS come in directly. So now I actually am wondering if that was a change during this process. Did they originally go and do their own shipment, and they were like, okay, let's stop, taking this all to the post office or whatever ourselves, and let's start getting, UPS, FedEx to come on over and come and get this. Which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with taking your own stuff if you want, but plenty of shippers will do that for you. If you're not, already on there, you definitely can call a business and have them come do pickups. And especially if you have a lot of orders, they'll definitely get you in there and schedule in for pickup if you're running it through like, FedEx or UPS or whatever. So, but that is cool to see that team over there. They're all working probably earlier on putting that stuff in. Oh, and there's Eric. He's closing that door, and you can see that's a real big door. So this warehouse is like, definitely meant for delivery trucks. This is not just a little, garage or storage shed. This is definitely a warehouse level facility, because you don't usually get the extra long doors unless you're, having an official warehouse where it's meant to have big trucks. So you can take out, big shipments. There you go. Okay. He's just tying up there. I guess he's tying up the door. Oh, and that's it. Okay. So that was fun. So yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me while I took a look at some of the shipment stuff. I think that, it's really impressive that they did this so well and so quickly. It's incredibly hard to do shipment on that scale. It's exhausting. As you saw, he needed a whole team to get this done right. So it should be a real good sign to everybody, and anyone who was like wondering, are they going to be able to fulfill this? They're going to be able to keep up with these orders. It's very clear that they got the needed equipment, that they have the right team, that they have everything they need in order to be successful going into the future, to do everything right, and to, have everything done beautifully. I mean, it's just abundantly clear that whether it was through their own research or maybe they got a shipping consultant, you can see in their warehouse that they have the tools you need to succeed. They have great custom labeling. They have, great custom organization tools. They have the printers and the labels and everything they need to really make sure everything's handled with care. And it's clear from, what they did with the gloves and all that other stuff and how they package things, that they're taking everything seriously and making everything good. And I think that was already evident from just seeing the packages. I, myself had 2 different shipments at 2 different times because the hats came out later. So I got to see, 2 iterations of how they did shipments. The first being one of the first shipments because I was one of the first people who purchased the comics on the website. And then later on, I got the hat when that was unlocked. So, I think I've seen just their growth there, just personally, physically, can confirm from getting 2 different shipments on, 2 different sets of products that the Rippaverse is here. They're here to stay. They have a great team. They have, really great methods for taking care of stuff. And they clearly care about their customers, and they care about making sure everything comes out well and is, just looks impressive. And I think that is really important for long-term fandom, is that everything looks good, feels good, quality. And when you get it, you know that you're getting a product that is going to last and is going to be something that you're proud to show off. So great work, everybody over there, on the Rippaverse team. And I'm excited to see what comes out next. Obviously, Isom 2 seems to be what's coming out next on the big scale. I didn't see anything about the side series, even though they said that, as Eric said, that they were working on something. I don't know anything in particular of what we can expect in terms of the ancillary series, like Norfolka or Yaira, what they're doing with that. But Isom 2 clearly is the big focus, following up on this one, because people want to know what happens next, right? All these people are like, okay, well, now what's going to happen the next issue? So we're going to find out soon enough. And, as I'd be betting on it, I'm going to guess probably late December is when they would launch the next one, just to maximize their window of preparing for the launch. Because after having all these weeks of having to hustle all day, every day and pack all those orders, there's no way that they're, going to want to just rush into the next one and be like, yeah, let's, I'm sure they're going to want to sit down, have some team meetings, reflect on what worked well, on what didn't, what ways it can improve for the next one, with everybody's, input kind of there, on their team, and thinking about what's the best practices, what should they keep from, how they do their shipments, and what should they change up, so that when they do Isom 2, it's going to be boom, 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 everything packed up even faster and shipped out even faster. So, well, with that, I am going to wrap things up, but I'm not sure when I'll stream next. What's today? I don't even know what today is. I keep losing track of it. Okay, the 17th. So, okay, so we got Thanksgiving coming up next week. I might do a stream on something. Maybe I might do a stream something related to Anti-State, because boom, 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 as you can see here, Anti-State is the next music video we have coming out. And it is going to be cool. And maybe me and Fu will show a little bit of the behind the scenes, some extra stuff, not crossing over to the behind the scenes we have specific for backers, but just some other little bits of stuff to show you as we build up some hype for the music video release. And then, after that comes out, then we'll be on to our next big music video project, which at this point, fingers crossed, will be Florida Man. And I'm going to do my best to get some really cool people in for that music video. Some people you will probably like a lot. So, all right, take care, everybody. Again, thanks, AdCat Gamer, stopping by, DCC, good to see you, Pika Pika, and everybody else who came on by for the YouTube here, and stopped on by to hang on out. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you very soon.
Zero State with Jack Lloyd, where philosophy matters.